Okay, so we have Cover Girl.
Yeah. His mother's house.
Mm-hmm.
Bowling's Variety Store. The building there. And the geometric structure came out of the drift of one color into another. You know, it's sort of like light and dark, and you know, so, and there's this target, right, with this Oriental girl who lived opposite me, I think 47 Lupus, wasn't it? Yeah, we bought a flat. And like the title says, she was on the cover of the magazine. Which magazine was it? The Observer, yeah. And it's rather simple to read, really. You know, it's all these sort of rays, you know, I let paint do, you know, drift down there. It comes out to a target like costume and things like that, so.
What made you use Mother House?
I was using Mother's House in all my pictures at that time as the sort of legacy that I thought I was carrying with me. If there was this business of subject matter that the Royal College insisted on, subject matter of my own self, if you like, an attempt to juxtapose the kinds of influences I think that informs my art. You know, it's very straightforward picture, right? Okay?
So this is Great Thames II.
Yes, well, carrying on from, you know, the geometric sort of structures of thingness. All these pictures were made in the East End, and I could see between two tall buildings the Thames, and you know, the entire feeling of just looking at the world and responding to it with, you know, means that are based in, you know, the sort of quickness of change. You know, where one thing dissolves into another, and the kind of mosaic tradition out of which Western disposition comes. You know, it's very Suzanne-esque, is this thing, isn't it? I want to hold it up so that you can see it.
Yes. In Cable Street. It was made in Cable Street.
Yes.
Overlooking.
Like opening between the buildings at the Thames.
Yes.
Mm.
And was named by Mel Gooding.
Mm.
The Great Thames paintings series. There were 4 of them.
Okay.
And I'm just looking over here, there's these little things.
The what?
There are all these little things over there. What are those?
They're just things in the world that at that scale look like dots or structures like Lego, you know, from, you know, smeared dots to a kind of strict geometry.
The spatula, it was the spatula that did the...
Yes, the chunks of gel and secondaries, because you see they're all sort of not bright like yellow, you know, and they kind of, or orange. They're kind of subdued, and you know, I think overhead in England, you know, as it is reflected, the sky above, the mud below, or the water below. You know, this haze, this sort of gentleness that is in the sky, even in the most horrendously busy day, the people, sort of going hither and thither in London, there was this sort of but I was telling you yesterday about out of the corner of an eye. If you glimpse that, and then, you focus on it, the first thing you want to do is to put it in your mouth, right? It's before putting the stuff in your mouth and just being clear-eyed about what, in fact, you see out there as a thing in itself, with, all these sort of history and experiences of our species, How long have...
You see here, there are these, are they tablets and stuff like that?
Well, there were sort of bits of plastic that was cut up.
Well, I'm sure there were pill cases in there.
Pill cases.
Yes, these are the pill cases there that would have had
by medicine
or something, colic oil capsules. You'd better say all that, Frank, because they want your voice.
What?
You better say that all your medicines went
Oh
into
yes, any kind of medical aid.
testing your urine.
Testing my urine, blood tests, this kind of thing. The packaging of these aids tended to be transparent plastic, soft plastic. And since the material I was working with was this gel, acrylic gel, it tended to marry up and enriching the surface so that you're seeing it as a surface all over a picture, and you can picture what you want in there. I mean, what's that? Is that Africa or something? No, I can't become too profound about these works because they were so easy to make.
Okay. And then another similar one is Serpentine, I believe.
Yes, but Serpentine was the earliest of the foam and plastic material applied in the gel that it frightened me because it was threatening to be a failure, because the method that I was using was subject to the dynamics of fall. Things slide off, fall off, in this mixture. And the actual lumps of foam that can be seen here are the ones that stayed, that actually adheres during the process of working on it. And because it had this serpentine, sort of going from the triangle at the top edge and the bottom edge across the diagonal. And if you can see, this is this as opposed to that.
Why was it called Serpentine?
Because of the serpentine-like way the attempt to glue the gel, glue the pieces of foam and various other things, bits of plastic, spoons and whatever, and didn't adhere and kept sliding down the surface in a kind of serpentine way. It was kind of wriggling around, and I think there's a very definite sort of look of a quadrant arc in there, but it's all really just wriggling from the right top hand corner and the across the diagonal to the left bottom.
You were saying this is the first time you used foam and things like that.
What?
This is the first time you were saying this is the first time you used foams and
Yes, getting the sort of thingness of bits and pieces like, this. By the way, you're going to have to go out there and get the gel because my wife refuses to do so.
When you get back from the yard, you'll have it.
No, Rachel, I want it now before I leave. This kind of thing makes some sort of shape as it slid down the gel and stopped and attached itself to the surface in a kind of tight, woven way that it's not going to fall any longer. It has its place in the surface there, this kind of thing. Dictated by gravity and, that sort of continuous ebb and flow of the atmosphere.
what gave you the idea of using foam in the first place?
The guy who manufactured the gel noticed I was trying to build up the surface and suggested that I put the foam in. That was strips of foam that came in packages that had to be stable. And so I started cutting them up and narrowing the flat cushion bits and stuff. I just played around with it.
Okay, nice. Well, that's good for today.
Okay.